Hi, this is Nia on Ron Cine TV, and I'm here with NK Rod today to talk about being self-published versus being represented by a major firm. And we're going to talk also about his self-titled debut book, A Bitter Pleasure. So, NK Rod, you know, for our viewers out there, can you tell us a little bit about what is the benefits of being self-published versus being represented by a major publishing house?
Well, like I tell people, it all depends on the person. Some people do very well in dealing with the big-time publishing houses. Some people do relatively well self-published. So it all depends on the person. I have an entrepreneurial spirit, so for me, it kind of made sense to do my own thing.
Okay.
Initially, go out there and to test the market and to really understand the nature of the business.
And how is the business? Well, can you tell us a little bit about publishing business? Is it as cutthroat as, say, acting? Is it around the same?
I mean, you can say that because right now, writers are like entertainers now. You know, a lot of writers, their books eventually, some books become movies.
Right.
So
okay.
they become celebrities. So you're dealing with a lot of money. And then with a lot of those, in that situation, you find out a lot of these corporations, companies, they can be very cutthroat when dealing with that.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to be, here's an example. If someone didn't have, say, an entrepreneurial spirit like you, but they were a writer, they still believed and were passionate about their product and what they believed in, and they wanted to get out there and be self-published, what avenues would you suggest for them to take to try to become self-published if they're trying to test those waters? They may be a little bit timid by it, but they do still stand behind their product. What would you suggest?
Well,
what tips would you give them?
I started off like just going on the internet, going to the library, and getting a lot of insight and a lot of information as it relates to the business. Also, there are a lot of people out there that's in the self-publishing industry that you can sit down and talk to somebody.
Okay.
I had someone mentor me.
Oh, so you had a mentor.
And I, come to my house and they would stay with me, and I was trying to get firsthand what it takes to be in the publishing industry, the self-publishing industry.
And what struggles have you come across, or rather, let's say, challenges? Are there more challenges, being independent than there are being represented?
I think there are challenges across the board, in any type of arena, any type of business. One of the things you find out, because you're self-published, you don't have that brand name behind you.
Right.
People might question you about that. But now, because so many people have become famous through the self-publishing industry, so many names, people who started off independent went on to the main publishing industry. So now they're giving the would-be artists or the artists like me a chance now.
Okay.
Because I could be the next, Stephen King.
Okay.
So on and so forth. So.
Okay. Well, how long have you been writing? Like, how long have you been in the writing business?
Well, I've been writing since I was probably like 8 years old.
Wow.
And in high school, I specialized in creative writing.
Okay.
And so I had little stories here and there. People would say, keep writing, keep writing. And until I started working in the publishing industry at one point, I was able to get a lot of insight into the nature of the business, and that, this is something that I wanted to do.
This is something that you wanted to do.
And I decided I wanted to go the self-publishing route.
Okay.
Because of my entrepreneurial spirit. And the people that I've seen that's doing really well, on the self-publishing aspect.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what your book is about? Because you have such a lovely title. I mean, this is great, artmanship here. From just me looking at it, it looks like it's dealing with something about metaphysics, spirituality. You care to elaborate on about that?
Well, A Bitter Pleasure, the subtitle is When Pleasure Turns into Pain.
Okay.
So basically, the story is of where we allow situations, looking at these characters going throughout their lives, how we allow situations to get the best of us.
Right.
And these characters have to kind of maintain a balance or go back to the middle. And I was inspired, you can say that I'm inspired by a lot of motivational speakers.
Okay.
Even inspired by Ayala Besant.
Yes, I heard of it.
And so I used to read a lot of these self-motivating books, and one part of me, who was an artist, said, wait a minute, what if I take those same concepts and put it in a creative fiction?
Right.
And so A Bit of Pleasure is really something like that. It's really encapsulating those principles, spirituality, metaphysics, and putting them inside of a fiction format. So now these principles actually come to life. They're actually real.
Oh, wow.
So A Bit of Pleasure is basically, again, like I said, when pleasure turns into pain, when we allow situations to get the best of us.
Well, do you think, that, say, as you're progressing on in your career and you start getting to the level of Stephen King, do you think at some point in time you would seek representation by a publishing house, maybe say for, I don't know, like attorneys? Because sometimes I think sometimes it may help, when you get to a certain point in the road just to protect yourself, right, for copyright or plagiarism. Do you think that that'll ever be something that you would consider? Or you're just you're like, this is me, this is what I'm going to do, and I stand behind it.
Everything is subject to change. Even when you're doing self-publishing, you still have to follow those same rules and guidelines as a major house, because you can't get sued, whether you're big time or small time. So of course you would have to protect yourself on all levels.
Right.
But it depends how well the contract works.
Okay, right.
Self-publishing is a business, and you actually running this business. But with the big time publishing, they actually deal with the marketing.
Right.
They deal with a lot of those things that you don't have to deal with.
Okay.
Self-publishing, you actually have to deal with all of that.
Right.
So it may take away that headache for you. Or if they come with a good contract, like anything, you can work that deal out. But now you're in a position of power, in a position of control, and oftentimes companies look at that. Well, you know a lot about the business. You have the go-getter mentality.
Go-getter mentality.
So that's what a lot of these, companies are looking for.
Well, does that kind of detract from your creative writing aspect, like having to be like the business person and the lawyer, and then come up, and then sit down for hours to write? How do you deal with that?
Time management.
Time management.
But that's one of the, probably you could say, the setbacks. You do have to be up on top of the marketing. You do have to set up. But like anything, once you reach a certain level, you can actually hire people to do that.
This is true.
But there are independent companies that do marketing, so you can fuel the money in that, as an independent artist, and they can actually run the business for you, help you, run the business.
Okay. Well, I mean, it looks like you're doing good so far. This is your first book. Do you have any plans for a second book?
Yes, you can actually get a sneak preview of the second book.
Okay.
Which is called The Devil's Country.
Okay.
In the back of the book.
Okay.
And one of my biggest clients right now is a university.
Really? Wow. Okay. Well, I'm very pleased that you came here on Ron Cine TV to sit here and talk to us. I know our viewers are definitely going to appreciate all the insight that you gave us today. I wish you well and much success in all your endeavors. And, this is me again. Thanks for watching Ron Cine TV here with NK Ra. And,
And thank you, Nia. Thank Ron Cine TV for inviting me out here.
Definitely.
And it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And have a good day. Ciao.